Welcome to the Scott Hormann Podcast. I'm Scott Hormann, and after spending decades as a player, coach, and mentor, I've learned that the greatest lessons in baseball have very little to do with batting averages, earned run averages, or championships. They have everything to do with character, leadership, perseverance, faith, and becoming the kind of person other players want to follow. Each week, we'll have an honest conversation about baseball, high school sports in general, coaching, parenting, player development, recruiting, and the moments that shape young athletes long after the final out. Because at the end of the day, trophies collect dust, character lasts forever. Welcome to the Scott Hormann Podcast.
Welcome back to the Scott Hormann Podcast. I have a special one here today. 5 ways we can push young players away from the game of baseball. Something near and dear to me because we all got into coaching to help players. And ultimately, we've all had a coach, somebody who will end up pushing a player away. Remember, the goal isn't just to develop a better baseball player and make him better. It's also to help them love the game. And if they don't love the game, they're never going to get better. So we want them, especially at a young age, to enjoy baseball, to feel it like it's a safe place, to feel like it's somewhere where we can go, where a person can go and really do well and enjoy the game. So 5 things that we can do, that we will do to push young players away, things we don't want to do, to be honest. We want to make sure that players stay in the game, and let's get right to it. Number 1, making the results bigger than the game. You know, in today's world with social media, perfect game, PBR rankings, all these things, you know, baseball can become about those instead of wins and losses, instead of joy of playing the game. What we really want to do as coaches is make sure they're enjoying competing, making sure that they're getting after it, having fun, make sure they're enjoying improving, and they have baseball and they love it, and that we are there to help protect the game and protect these young players, because as low as 10 and 11 years old now, these kids are getting ranked, and that's what it's about to them instead of really what it should be about, which is, you know, baseball. The players who last aren't motivated only by awards, and that's a really important thing that I think people should realize. The joy of playing the game really is one of the most important things as a coach we need to do, especially for young baseball players, and to make sure that they understand that baseball is the love of the game, enjoying baseball, getting out and playing with your friends, getting out and playing with your team. Yes, winning is something that's part of it, but loving it is more important, so that they stick around and continue to play the game. Number 2, this is important as well. It used to be, in fact, when I first started coaching with USA Prime's national program, we had players there, or we had college coaches there when they were in 8th and 9th grade. Now they can't do that. I mean, they could still show up, but they can't recruit, they can't talk, they can't offer until August going into their junior year. So this has really helped the game at a younger age. But we don't need to go to a ton of showcases when we're a freshman. When we're in 8th grade, a freshman, maybe sophomore year, you could start going, but showcases aren't that important when you're younger. Development should be coming first. Before going and worrying about being seen, make sure you're physically ready to be seen. Make sure your skills are good enough to be seen. And is this opportunity actually going to help you? One of the things that happens a lot is players will go to a showcase too early and they're not good enough, and they just get crossed off a list. And the next time they show up, the coach is like, well, no, I didn't like him the last time I saw him, so why would I like him now? So make sure that you are ready for that opportunity when showcases and getting recruited and things like that happen. I think it's real important to really just enjoy the game, continue to get better, continue to strive to get better, continue to work, get physically stronger, get mentally stronger, get your skills up to a level that coach goes, oh, wow, man, I got to watch this kid a little bit more. Another big mistake, listening to everyone. Find somebody that you trust. Okay. Everybody has an opinion. One person's opinion about a player is definitely not another's. Every opinion doesn't deserve equal weight. In other words, find your group, find your people who's going to give you good sound advice. Do they understand you as a player? Do they understand where you're trying to go as a player? And have they helped other players get places? I see a lot of recruiting companies popping up everywhere. Well, and then people start to go to work for that recruiting company. Well, those guys don't really know how the recruiting works. And the next thing you know, the player has paid thousands of dollars and he's going to a school he could have gone to without paying anything. So I think it's important that, yes, you need confidants. You need people in your corner. You need people that are going to talk to you. You need people that are going to talk for you. But make sure you trust those people and they have a proven track record before you, for lack of a better term, get in bed with that person and give them thousands of dollars. Okay. Make sure this is important. As I've gotten older in coaching, this is something I've learned. An injury to an athlete isn't just dealing with the physical side of being unable to play. Being away from teammates in the game can be difficult for that player as well. And us as coaches, we have to be very careful about pushing them back in when they're injured. We got to make sure that we give them time to heal, and we got to make sure we support them both physically, in the weight room, in the rehab, in their physical therapy, but also mentally, because they're going through it as they're not getting to play, and they're really struggling with not getting to play, and that's a hard thing for players. Make sure we give them the proper time to recover. Winning isn't everything. If you're hurting a player, or you get them hurt again because you're trying to win a game, that's a bad look for a coach. Okay. And coaches and players and parents always follow qualified medical guidance. All right. We want to get them healthy. We want to have them stay connected. And we want them to come back fully ready to go and ready to get after it and ready to play the game the way it's supposed to be played. And then obviously the last thing is coaching the joy out of the game. Man, have I seen a lot of coaches do that. Oh my gosh, especially parent coaches of their own kid. Every swing doesn't need to be critiqued. Every mistake doesn't need a lecture. Every ride home, parents, does not need to become another coaching session. Okay? Sometimes your player just needs a really simple, I loved watching you play today. Man, you made a great play on that play in the fifth inning. I get it. You're spending a lot of money, but we want to make sure kids, again, love the game. The guys that make it, and if this is your goal for your kid, the guys that make it love the game at a different level than anybody else. Okay? Let them play the game, let them fail, and let them grow. Man, that's important. And that doesn't happen a lot anymore. You got to let them fail. You got to let them, if they got benched and they're not playing, you got to let them fight through it. Okay? All right. So parents, we want our kids to improve. We don't want to let our desire to make them better become the reason they stop loving baseball. I had some of those times where I would be in the car with my dad, and he was a great coach. And I love every second I spent with my father at the baseball field. But there were some times, man, that, rides home were not fun. Okay. And it wasn't his fault. He was just coaching me. It wasn't my fault. But rides home were tough. So let's make sure that we love the game to a level that nobody else can ever take that game away from us. Okay? Allow our kids to continue to grow, to continue to compete, be the best teammates they can be the best player they can be, and you be the best parent you can be. And coaches, please make sure you're coaching the game for all players involved on your team. Not the top 9, but all 14 to 16 players at the high school level, up to 20 sometimes, and the 12 to 13 players when they're in youth. Make sure you're coaching every player. Make sure you're trying to find out what each player needs. I'm Scott Hormann. Thanks for watching the Scott Hormann Podcast, and I'll get more of these out to you as fast as I can. But that's our show for today.